According to the explanation offered by the Pleiadians, the Lyrians were the original, to us at least, ancestors of our branch of our lifestream of evolution. Many thousands of years ago, their civilization in Lyria reached a high technological level, and they began to travel in space. They were free will creatures and had control of their destiny. At a certain point in time, they fell into disagreement and divided into factions with different ideologies and different goals and objectives. They eventually went to war and destroyed much of their society and ruined their home. Escapists, seeking to avoid the anticipated outcome, fled from their native system and found homes in star systems that we call the Pleiades and the Hyades. They also went to nearby Vega. In a few thousands of years, they had raised those societies to high technological levels and once again were able to travel in space. Some of the Pleiadians of Lyrian ancestry on their travels discovered our planet and its nascent life evolving in very hospitable atmosphere. They stayed and settled briefly in later Lemuria and early Atlantis, some even mixing with Earth creatures and becoming Earth men. Those who remained apart and did not mix soon produced highly evolved technologies, and they designed and built many wonderful machines and devices and created comforts and conveniences of all kinds. Again, they came into conflict and the society became polarized into two camps, each possessing marvelous technologies. Eventually, they went to war and terrible destruction resulted. To those who could, they escaped to other regions of space and started all over again. Some of those beings are now also visiting us occasionally. A long time later, a new wave of Pleiadians arrived to check on the descendants of their ancestors who survived the terrible war. They found survivors, and again they mixed with them and assisted Earth humanity in getting control of its assets and producing a new technology. This society became the later Atlanteans, who raised their sciences to levels that produced air and undersea travel before that civilization was also destroyed by surface war on Earth.
With so many conspiracy theories out there, it's hard to keep track of them all. Welcome to What We Know, where we try to uncover the histories and mysteries of the world by presenting all different theories out there, and the only narrative we push is this. Here's what we know, make up your own mind.
The modern Pleiadians are descendants of the peaceful faction that settled in the star group, which astronomy gives that name. The Vegans, visiting us now, are descendants of another peaceful group that settled a planet in the Vega system. The descendants of the Lyrians, long evolved before the conflict stage, are now interested in our welfare and feel a special responsibility toward us, since we reflect the earlier warlike tendencies of themselves. They lost much in their history of conflict and destroyed themselves several times and lost their great technological advances each time. According to the story, they even settled another hospitable planet in our solar system, the fifth one from the sun, which was actually destroyed in a war of nuclear weapons that got out of hand there. This is part of their concern about how we will use our nuclear sciences now. These Lyrians are now being helped and assisted in certain ways by their human cousins in the Pleiades and Vega and others. So we see that although the Lyrians are much older in evolution, they are only a little ahead of the others in some technologies and are behind in others, and are being assisted along the way by their cousins. Thus it is that so many human-like extraterrestrials are appearing in the same age in time. Some are actually linked in evolution and do apparently have a common source. Our re-emerging technology attracts their attention now, and they are here to observe and assist according to our will choices. The Lyrian races began evacuating their home planet over 22 million years ago, and they have peaked out and migrated from there more than once. They believe that creation itself is the first cause, not that a creator created it. They see creation as universal knowledge, universal wisdom, universal spirit. They told Meyer that there are millions of creation forms known to them. They also told him that our earliest society on Earth was copied from the early Lyrians visiting Earth. They were here and observed physical life on Hyperborea, a mythical first continent encompassing all the land mass at the time. This was before Earth humans began physical evolution. Descendants of these Lyrians came again later and assisted the budding societies of the next epoch and gave Lemuria and Atlantis their names. There were other beings from another system called Bawi who also visited the Earth at that time. The Bawi were a race of beings 2.5 to 3 meters tall. There were once beings visiting the Earth who were 7 to 8 meters tall. They had feet 90 to 93 centimeters long, and fossil tracks still exist. On what we now call Easter Island, there was a special race of very big people, an unimaginable 10 to 11 meters tall. They were not entirely physical. Whole histories of Hyperborea, Agartha, Mukulia, and Atlantis have been described by the Pleiadians. On an extended visit in space, Meyer was shown another atmospheric planet with life in an earlier stage of evolution. He saw dinosaur-like creatures, a stocky, primitive man wearing skins, and steep pyramids in the distance in a very misty, golden atmosphere. He was told that this planet would be 770 light years from Earth. According to the Pleiadian account, the Lyrians left their system as rebels and settled in the Pleiades and the Hyades. They later came to Earth and mixed with Earthmen. Earthmen then lived in the remnants of the earlier single continental landmass known as Hyperborea. These beings produced and developed a civilization with advanced technology here on Earth. They became involved in a war among themselves here, and a faction left and proceeded to Era in the Pleiades, and others went to another planet in our solar system, an atmospheric planet, the fifth from the Sun, which they called Malona. They settled on this planet and mixed with the human life form there. The Lyrian descendants who settled Earth and Malona both were a warlike race, and they carried their warlike tendencies with them. The Malonans ended up destroying their planet in a terrible atomic holocaust. Will we do the same? The surviving Lyrians left for many thousands of years. Subsequent generations came back in another age and again fell to fighting among themselves, and again they left. This was repeated still once more, and now the descendants of those are again observing Earth and the surviving descendants of their ancestors. The Lyrian rebels have now reached a higher spiritual level of being and no longer indulge in conflict and war. Their ancestors are responsible for the racial variety now found on Earth. So we see that we and the Pleiadians and the Vegans and some other Adamic beings who come here from the Hyades are all in a sense Lyrian descendants, and we are linked by a common heritage. The current Lyrian visitors, with their higher spirituality, are here trying to undo some of the effects left by their earlier, less spiritual ancestors. The older Lyrian ancestors, due to their underdeveloped spirituality, fell into stagnation and lost much of their technology. The Pleiadians are now helping them back on their way to marvelous technologies they once had. The Vegans, also descendants of the old Lyrians, are also helping the Lyrians to recover some of their old advanced sciences and introducing them to some new ones. The Pleiadians have been helped much by the dolls and are passing some of this on to the Lyrians, and are in turn being helped by the Lyrians in other ways.
If you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the like button. Feel free to write a comment below and suggest which theory you want to see next. If you'd like to further support this channel, please consider joining. Our membership link will be found in the description box below. We appreciate your support, and as always, thanks for watching.